So let's get started. Introduce yourself and tell me the organization you represent.
My name is Brandon Jacobs. I'm currently a representative of the Gamma Mu Omega chapter of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated.
Iota Phi Theta. Are you guys the babies of the Divine Nine?
I guess from the rest of the Divine Nine standpoint, yes, we would be considered the baby.
Only just because, it was, not that long ago that you guys were founded. So why don't we start there? Give me a little bit of history about your organization.
Well, obviously, 1963 was a very turbulent year in our country. It was a very transitional point for Black and Brown people here in the United States of America. Obviously, everything going on with MLK in August of 1963. In September, our founders, on the steps of Hurst Gymnasium on the campus of Morgan State College, now known as Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, collaborated together to create an organization that they felt like spoke to them. One of the unique things about our organization that is slightly different from some of the other organizations is our founders are a little bit older than some of the other founders of the other organizations. Our founders had already gone to war. Several of them had been in the military, things like that. And so they were looking for something that spoke to them in a unique way, but still provided that sort of undergrad collegiate atmosphere for them. So that's the very short version of the founding of Iota Phi Theta.
Yeah. So they had some experience under their belt.
That's correct. That's correct. They had endured and seen a world, I think, much different than a lot of young people at the time. They had again, several of them had gone to war. They had seen what it's like on the other side of the world. They had had an opportunity to see, how people of color are treated outside of the United States. So those opportunities, I think, gave them a different perspective on what the world looks like.
Based on the history of this organization, how has it changed or made its mark on Black history?
Well, I think that as is the case with any organization, right? We all have our notable members. We all have things that we have accomplished. All of that sort of stuff. I mean, people seem to have this misconception about IOTA that we don't have notable members just like any other organization. Most people remember TC Carson from Living Single. What they also don't know is over the years, he's done a lot of voice acting and voice work. A lot of young people around my age, late 20s, early 30s, probably remember him as the voice of Kratos from God of War. You've got Bobby Rush, who's a congressman in Illinois. You've got Elvin Hayes, who is an NBA Hall of Famer. And I think most recently, a lot of people would know Devin Steele. His daughter Leah had cancer, and he was playing in the NFL at the time. They were the recipients of the Jimmy V Award for their courage and perseverance in fighting cancer and raising money to help his daughter and a lot of other young people. So I think that there's this misconception that like we aren't a part of these same initiatives because we don't have Martin Luther King per se or Jesse Jackson and things like that. But we have notable members who were fighting the good fight just like everyone else at the time.
I find it interesting that you bring that up. Um, why? Why is that? What do you think are some of the other misconceptions about your organization?
Well, I think the misconceptions are generally made because when you're in your own bubble, as is the case with anyone, when you're in your own bubble, you tend to know and understand and feel the impact of your organization's influence on society. And begin to, as we mentioned at the beginning of this interview, us being the youngest of the organizations in the NPHC, a lot of people haven't had a time to really study us. You've got tons of members of organizations that are living, breathing, walking around that do not know Iota Phi Theta as a member of the NPHC when they were in undergrad. So keeping that in mind, our influence to them isn't quite the same. But when you talk to young people who have attended college within the last 20 years or so, it's a little bit different. Their perception of us, our influence, and our overall impact is different.
Tell me, why did you choose this organization? What is it about this organization that made you say, I really want to be a member? This is something for me.
My story is a little bit different. I actually came through a graduate chapter, the Gamma Mu Omega graduate chapter here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm actually the first initiate from the first line in 2010. And for me, it was a little bit different because when I was attending UNF, there was no Iotas on the yard. There wasn't anything like that. I thought I was going to go in a different direction, and I decided against that. I ended up graduating. I was a club promoter and a DJ at the time, and I was DJing an event for the African American Student Union at UNF, now BSU. And ultimately, I ended up stumbling across a member of Iota Phi Theta by the name of Nelson McCoy. He walked up on me, and much like other people in other organizations would do, he said, "Hey, man, you played all the Stroll songs for all of the D9 except for us." And I casually looked up and I saw a yellow shirt, and I was like, "Nah, man, I played Atomic Dog." And I just kind of kept it moving, you know. And he was like, "No, Iota Phi Theta." Now, keep in mind, I come from a household of blue and white folks. My cousin Chris pledged Sigma at the University of Florida. My sister pledged Zeta at Florida State. And so, you know, I thought I had, you know, as it relates to people who aren't Greek, I had a grasp on what the MPHC was. And so, you know, he talked to me briefly about the organization, and then I played this song Rosa Parks by Outkast, and he strolled to the song, and he was there by himself and really just tore the house down. And I was so impressed. I was like, "Man, let me know about this organization." And he was like, "No." I was like, hmm? I was
You
like, "That's not how this
disrespected
works."
us. Wait a
No,
minute.
I was like, "That's not how this works. You know, I show interest and you give me information and that kind of thing." He said, "No, there's a couple of books that I want you to read. I want you to read Black Greek 101 and the Divine Nine. Read those books and get back to me." And a week later, I reached out to him, and he was like, "Did you read the books?" And he asked me a variety of questions. And I said, "No, man, I hadn't had a chance to read the books." He said, "Read the books and call me back." So I actually sat down and I read the books and called him back. And then we had a conversation, and he was just like, "So why not Omega Psi-Phi?" And I was like, although I respect, you know, the dogmatic principles of Omega Psi-Phi and what they did as far as not being let on the yard initially when they were founded, they did hang note cards on trees to kind of build influence for the organization, and really just, you know, were really rambunctious at the time when they were first initially founded and trying to get their feet up under them. You know, it doesn't speak to me in the same way. And what I found myself doing was I was reciting information that I had read from the book. So it had absorbed in me. Not too long after that, we went through what you would call the process of becoming an iota. So
Yeah. And the rest is history.
the rest is history.
How do you feel about your choice? Because you just, in this short interview, in this short time that I've spoken to you, I've learned a lot about your organization, things I didn't know. I'm not Greek myself. What about it just really impressed you?
I think um, a lot of people make their choices for a variety of different reasons, right? For young people who pledge in undergrad, I think the choice is made because, hey, these are the popular people on campus. They provide something to my life that could be of impact for me for the next 4 years, and that's what they tend to focus on primarily. Not saying that, you know, the lifelong component of it isn't important to them, but as a young person, 18, 19, 20 years old, I think that that's where your primary focus is. I think for me, what I realized was that I don't have any brothers. And I recognize the fact that I could not just have brothers, but men of character that I really respect, who are making a true impact in the community. And I've never been, again, having been a club promoter, you know, I had stood next to Young Jeezy at concerts, you know, and all this kind of stuff, T-Pain, the whole nine.
Mhm.
And so I had seen all of those things. So like famous men don't necessarily impress me. So I wasn't so caught up in no disrespect, no the Jesse Jacksons or the MLK being a member of a given organization to influence me to be it. I wanted to meet men that were like me, that were, you know, building a tradition, which is our motto, building a tradition, not resting upon one, building a tradition in their communities and really making a true impact.
How does your organization continue to shape its members even after college?
I know you reached out to Mark, so you've had a chance to peruse our Duval Iota's website. I'm the one who designed that. Um, as you can see, right now we continue to make an impact through our community service programs and initiatives. We just did a clothing drive. We fed the homeless during Thanksgiving with my catering company, Snooks Eatery. The brothers did that along with me, and we continue to make an influence just from all of our businesses that we do. That we try to find unique ways to tie into what the fraternity's principles and initiatives are. You've got Mark Harris, who you were communicating with. He owns Spaz Apparel, which they provide a lot of up and coming apparel for people of color. You got the Center One Foundation that was founded by Nelson McCoy, which helps minority young people find funding in order to attend college. So if they want to go to the University of North Florida, but they're unsure how they're going to be able to find the funding necessary to get there, they're $5,000 short. He assists through that process. Again, like I said, I own a catering company, Snooks Eatery, Feed the Homeless. My line brother in the fraternity, Jay Nightingale, owns a catering company as well, Holy Grill. And we just try to find unique ways to tie in our business initiatives to the service of the community at large here in Jacksonville.
Is there anything else that you want the Jacksonville community to know about your organization and how you continue to serve them?
Just that we're here and that we're present and that don't allow misconceptions to get in the way of what is true. That there are Iotas of great influence doing tremendous work in the community. Nelson McCoy helped revise the city charter this past year. I am the chairman and one of the four founders of the largest alumni association for people of color in the city of Jacksonville. I'm the founder of the Black Alumni Association at the University of North Florida. So we continue to do great work. We're proud of what we do.
One last question, and I feel like you've answered this already, but I have been asking the other organizations this or the representatives. Do you feel like your organization chose you or did you choose them?
I would say a little bit of both. Initially, it's me choosing them because I have to express that interest. And then they choose me from the standpoint of they assess me and determine what value I bring to the organization, because we just have to be honest about it that you know the organization is in the business of trying to grow the organization and subsequently its influence. And so obviously, you have some really nice people, but if they aren't servicing the community and doing good work or have the motivation to be open to doing good work, then they may not be a fit for an organization, and that's perfectly okay.
Anything else you want to add before
No,
we sign off?
I just encourage people to go to our website, iotatheta.org, to check out any national initiatives, programming, learn more about the organization. And if you want to find out more about the brothers here locally, you can go to duvaliotas.com, click on the video about what it takes to be a Duval Iota and learn more.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it. It was
No,
very eye-opening, I have to say.
thank you.